After trading back, the Houston Texans select at 15 offensive lineman Kenyon Green from Texas A&M, staying within the state of Texas. Here to talk about that pick, Pete Fiutak, host of the College Football News podcast. Pete, how are you feeling after this pick? That seems like a great pick for them to get some interior line help.
Best player available. Sometimes I kind of would have liked it if Kyle Hamilton slid there. But look, I'm a fan of the offensive lineman. I like the infrastructure type guys. So I really wanted them to go with one of the offensive tackles at 3. They went Derek Stingley Jr. Okay, fine. And then they get the inside guy where, the fans aren't going to notice him. He's an offensive guard. What does that mean? But you got to get parts. And if you're the Texans, you need a little bit of everything for everywhere. And they just got the best guard off the board by far.
Ryan, you know that I'm a big fan of Kenyon Green, and that I've talked so highly of him throughout this process. I know you like him as well. What makes him so solid of an interior offensive line prospect?
Yeah, I mean, he's my top interior offensive line prospect, even when you count guards and centers together. I prefer him over Tyler Linderbaum, even coming out of Iowa. For me, the ability that he has to displace gaps, just such natural power, good mover. He's played all positions outside of center this past year, so he even has a little bit of versatility. But make no mistake about it, this is a true interior offensive lineman. This is a true guard who is just such a mauling presence inside. He has a temperament to him, and I think that he's really going to be able to jumpstart not only the running attack with his temperament, but also be a solid enough pass protector for a guy that's also played left tackle for the Aggies. So I love the pick. He graded out as a top 10 player for me. Big fan of Kenyon Green.
However, if they really wanted that and they needed that, Evan Neal is so much better than Kenyon Green. They go Evan Neal at the 3 and Trent McDuffie here. You got your better offensive lineman, which is a far more important position than corner. And you've got a corner who's probably this much worse than Derek Stingley Jr. So it's going to work. I like Kenyon Green. I like the pick here, but I think they could have done this a little differently and still gotten the value for it.
Ryan, do you agree with that? Or are you not in the same boat here on that decision?
No. I mean, I'm just speaking about Kenyon Green, obviously in a vacuum in this pick. I completely agree with Pete. I mean, you know that I'm a big fan of Evan Neal. I picked him to be the first offensive player off the board, and I lost that bet, unfortunately. But if you want to flip it around, you get a guy like a Trent McDuffie there with the second pick, and you supplement the cornerback spot. I'm completely fine with that, and I completely makes total sense on Pete's.
And what does this say here also? Those quarterbacks, nobody like you. No one likes any of those quarterbacks, at least until this point. But that was a spot where I like Davis Mills. I think he's going to actually be great with guys around him. And they didn't go with a Kenny Pickett. They didn't go with a Malik Willis. They went for the infrastructure. And again, you need parts, and that's a better value pick than either of these quarterbacks.
Folks, if you're looking for some more college football analysis, be sure to check out the College Football News podcast with Pete Fiutak. And if you're looking for some Texans analysis, check out the Believe in Texans podcast with Jordan Putton.